Hello, I'm Bo and I'm developing an indie game called Grub Truck where you run and manage your own food truck. I've pushed development super hard this month as I had planned to release a public demo available for you to try by September or October this year, but obviously that deadline's passed now. I could have released a demo, but I just wasn't happy with it. The game just really didn't feel entertaining enough. So after getting a few friends and family members to QA test the game for me, I gathered a plethora of different feedback, but the main thing that stood out in the majority of the feedback that I received was that the players didn't really feel involved in the actual food truck itself. They didn't really feel as if they were controlling the situation. They were just pressing buttons and the world was happening around them. So the first step I took to fix this issue was by redesigning the build mode so that you'd still have the grid placement and it would still snap into place, but you can now place it anywhere in the truck. It's not limited to the back wall as it was previously. This also means that you can rotate the objects and place them along any kind of wall or even in the middle of the truck if the truck is big enough. This did raise up another issue though of the player not really being able to see any appliances that are on the near wall or at least near that side. So what I did to fix this was I added a button at the bottom of the UI that will allow you to toggle the near wall to be transparent or not transparent, which obviously took heavy inspiration from the Sims series of games where you can toggle walls, but I took a much simpler approach. I did, however, code the system in a way that makes it automated for me in the future. So if I want to add new trucks, it's completely automated in a sense of I just build the model, set it up and lay it out the way I need it to be, and the game will automatically detect what's the nearest wall and make that transparent as and when the player requests it. Although the player can now place the appliances wherever they like, there was still an issue of not really being able to be super accurate with the placement, and you couldn't really see the design of the truck very clearly since you're at a 45-degree angle and then slightly on the side. So to fix this issue, I took some inspiration from the real world. When there's a building under construction or we're redesigning a room, then you'll typically have a floor plan, which is essentially just a bird's eye view of what it is to help us visualize it. Obviously, I didn't go to the depth of measurements or nothing like that because it's a bit unnecessary for my style of game. I did, however, go with the bird's eye view concept. So there's now a button at the bottom of the UI that allows you to toggle between bird's eye view and normal view, which looks like this. Also implemented a little system behind the scenes that I've not finished developing yet, but it's working. And each truck you buy now saves its own layout, so you can have a different layout for each truck. However you want to lay it out is up to you, and it will save per truck that you buy. The plan in the future with this idea is to allow you to buy as many models of whatever vehicle you want, and then to have a physical garage where you can actually go through your different trucks, and then to maybe even potentially make it a passive income when you're not using that truck, so someone will run it for you and you just get a smaller cut. But that's in the far future. So all of this is great, however, the macro concern still hasn't really been covered. Although the player can now place the appliances wherever they like, as they like, the player still doesn't really feel that involved in what the character is actually doing. They're not really involved in the cooking process or serving the customers, which is obviously one of the main features of the game. Now, I always said when I started developing this game, I don't want an in-depth cooking system. I just want it to be a case of you get the ingredient, you put it on the appliance, you pick it up and serve it. Don't want anything more complex than that, as it's not the key focus of the game. It's more about the everyday management of the truck. And it took me a couple of days to actually figure out how I was going to fix this issue. And it was whilst I was watching one of Finn Matrix's new videos, I'll leave that video in the description. And he mentions, whilst he's redesigned his UI, a website called the Game UI Database. And I was scrolling through there and found the old Me editor from the Wii system. And what's great about the Me editor is you could clearly see all the options on one side of the UI, and on the other side was clearly the character preview, so you could absolutely know what was going on and where, and see in pretty good detail as well, even though it's kind of like a low poly model. This is also very similar to the Sims character creator in the sense that you have the character model on one side, and then you can edit their appearance and their details on the other through the UI. I figured that I could use a similar concept, and using the UI that I designed earlier on in the day, stick that to one half of the screen, and then have the camera zoom in right on the appliance and the player, so you can see the world doing the tasks that you're telling it to do up close and personal, but still being able to control it through the UI. I must say, I am incredibly pleased with the outcome of this. This is exactly the kind of thing that I was going for, and I really do feel, especially after doing some more QA testing, you do feel involved with what the character is doing. Although you're not necessarily controlling the character in the way they cook it, the way they serve it, you're still controlling the actual macro actions of that character. And it's a massive improvement from the previous action menu, which looked like this, to the new system, again, which looks like this. After doing some more QA testing after this, I also got some further feedback of the idea that they felt as if they were controlling a miniature world, or they were seeing a doll's house actually work and come to life. And whilst the game being miniature was never my target, I did want the player to feel as if they are much larger than the characters and controlling a small world, but I didn't want to give the visual impact of a miniature world, so I feel I've exactly achieved one of my main targets for this game, just through this one tiny little change. To go along with this, I also completely scrapped the whole character system that I did in the last video. Whoops. It definitely worked and it done its job and I was very happy with it, but I just feel that my artistic qualities didn't really match up with the rest of the game. I'm not an artist by any means, and I felt that the visuals of the characters and the animations that were going with them and the way I rigged it was just letting the game down. From the feedback that I gathered in the QA tests, it was actually distracting the players from what they were doing because they were noticing the customers more than anything else, which is obviously not my main goal. Although the customers are definitely important, it's not the main focus. The main focus is the truck and the player and the appliances. So I put a little bit of money into it and I bought a professionally made pack of 3D model low poly characters, which I must say I'm incredibly pleased with. They just look incredible. It adds so much more high quality stuff for player characters as well as for customers, and I'll definitely be buying some more of those packs in the future. If you do want to check them out for yourself, they do loads and loads of low poly stuff. I'll leave the link to their asset store in the description. With these huge improvements that have been made this month, I'm definitely starting to narrow down my focus to getting a public demo available. We're nearly there. I'd love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on what you think the game needs to be finalised before I can release it to the public. Let me know your ideas and opinions in the comments section, or if you want to join the discussion, you can join the Discord server, links in the description for that as well. And as always, thanks for watching this devlog, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!